Hi again, this is Marybeth, and in this module, we will be taking a more in-depth look into sensory seekers, who make up one of the four quadrants of sensory preferences. Throughout this module, it is important to remember that someone can be considered a sensory seeker in one, multiple, or all of their senses, depending on their preferences. What is a sensory seeker? An individual that has sensory seeking preferences has a high threshold for sensory stimuli and demonstrates a high behavioral response. This means they require more of a sensation for their threshold to be met, and they will actively seek out this stimulation. When thinking about the milk example from the first module, sensory seekers would be representative of the gallon milk jug. So a lot of sensory stimulation, or milk in terms of the example, is required to fill up the gallon and meet their threshold, which can be thought of as the top of the jug. We will now look further into how a sensory seeker may present at CCW regarding each sense. In the next few slides, we're going to break down examples of sensory seekers into each sense. But you may notice that we don't include the sense of taste in any of these modules. This is largely because we, or you, do not have control over what foods guardians of participants send with them for snack or lunch. One thing we do recommend here is to simply just pay attention to strong preferences and patterns and make suggestions to participants' guardians accordingly. I will now provide some examples of how an individual that is sensory seeking in the touch category may present. They may be seen to touch walls as they walk by them and will prefer to use messier art materials such as paints, clay, or woodworking. They may also enjoy the feeling of having paint or other materials on their skin and may not see the need to wash it off as quickly as others. Individuals that are sensory seeking in this category may also be seen to engage in many handshakes, hugs, or other physical contact from those around them. In terms of sound, someone who is sensory seeking may enjoy being in environments that have loud noises, like the music room or woodshop. They may prefer to be in these areas even if it does not seem like they are actively engaging with the materials or equipment. For example, someone may want to sit in an active music room while painting just to have the extra sounds around them. Someone who is sensory seeking may also be observed to make loud noises themselves, like clapping, singing, and/or yelling. These individuals may also constantly want to listen to loud music or sounds playing through headphones in order to have that constant sensory input. Someone who is sensory seeking in the vestibular sense may stand up or walk around the room frequently during seated activities. They may rock their bodies back and forth or intentionally roll their heads left to right to fulfill their need for movement. These individuals typically enjoy the feeling of fast and/or unpredictable movement, such as moving cars, jumping up and down, and swinging or spinning. It may appear that these seekers are restless, yet they are often just trying to do anything that may increase their movement level while challenging their balance. As we move into talking about proprioception, let's take a moment to try something to help us understand this sense before moving on to some examples. So try this. Bring your palms together in front of your chest and close your eyes. For anyone who does yoga, imagine it looking like a prayer pose. You can feel what position your joints are in, right? Now really try and push your palms together against each other. The pressure going through your arms makes you even more aware of the position of your joints. This is the sensation that's craved by those who seek proprioception. Now here are some examples of how individuals try and gain this input. You may see them pushing, pulling, or carrying heavy objects, seeking deep pressure, like hugs or the pressure from a weighted blanket, moving their legs up and down while sitting, or stomping their feet while they walk. Proprioceptive seekers may also make exaggerated or large movements with their arms and/or legs throughout movement. Additionally, they may seek out objects with naturally resistive properties, such as rubber bands or silly putty, and may enjoy eating chewy foods like gummy candies to gain extra pressure through their jaw. Proprioceptive seekers at CCW may be seen to frequently rip their paper due to pushing extra hard on their pencil or paper while writing or sketching. All of the above provide pressure and increased feedback and awareness of your joint position in space. Someone who is sensory seeking in the visual sense may want to be in a busier environment, one with many different colors, objects, or people around with them. They may prefer to be in environments that are scattered or that have very bright or flickering lights. They may also enjoy using bright colors or using many colors instead of only a few. Someone who is seeking smell may enjoy wearing strong perfumes, deodorant, or body wash, or may go out of their way to smell others who do. When working at CCW, you may see these individuals preferring mediums that have strong smells like woodworking, painting, working in the kitchen, or screen printing. So now that we know a bit about what it may look like to be a sensory seeker, let's talk about you as staff members at CCW and how you can help participants meet their sensory needs. When thinking about touch, it may be helpful to encourage the use of messier materials such as paints or ceramics, and provide different textured materials or fidget items like a stress ball to help these individuals meet their thresholds. Although these individuals may go out of their way to meet their touch needs, as staff, it is important to encourage that this touch is appropriate and wanted by others. When considering sound, it is important to provide objects in the environment that may create increased noise. For example, providing items such as a rain stick or other noise-making objects may increase the auditory stimulation that they want. Also, allowing individuals to work in a noisier environment may be beneficial for their concentration. The sound in the music room will allow their auditory threshold to be met and may allow them to focus more of their attention on appropriate areas of work. It may also be beneficial to allow these individuals to take a short break to use some of the music equipment when it is not in use to make their own noise. Moving on to vestibular. These individuals may be more comfortable in their environment if they are allowed to get up, move around, and jump in an appropriate location. Sitting on an air cushion while working or eating may also be beneficial. These individuals can benefit from sensory movement breaks. It is best for these breaks to be directed by staff members. As staff, you can direct these individuals to take movement breaks by going to the sensory walk station in the WAC room and directing how many times the individuals should go through the course. If it is their first or second time, they may need some help to direct their movements in order to learn the course. For someone who is seeking proprioception, it is helpful to incorporate resistance bands around the front legs of the individual's chair. This way, they can focus on their artwork instead of focusing on fulfilling their sensory need. They may also benefit from the use of weighted items, such as a weighted vest or lap blanket, while they sit and do their work. Movement breaks at the sensory walk station can also be beneficial to allow these individuals a structured area to move and meet their sensory threshold. Individuals that are visually seeking may enjoy wearing colored glasses throughout the day to increase the amount of visual stimulation. They may also like the use of highly contrasting colors in their artwork. As staff, it can be beneficial to teach these participants these artistic skills so they are able to independently utilize them. When it comes to smell, some ideas to help provide extra stimulation could be to drop essential oils onto a piece of fabric or a small sponge and allow this to be at their workstation. This will allow individuals to seek out extra smell stimulation without changing the smell of the entire room, and can be personalized towards the individual's preferences. Thank you for listening. Up next, we will explore more about individuals who are sensory avoiding.